Hey guys, King of Charmers here to be your judge, your jury, and your analyst, and today I bring to you the most powerful team, or actually, statistically, yeah, it's like that. This was statistically the most powerful Retro Cup team from the PvP ranking, so technically it is the most powerful PvP team for the Retro Cup. As PvP hasn't released it before, or the next one, this team ties, or pretty much ties with Lickitung, as instead of Deoxys defense, you have Lickitung in its place. So it's either Walrein Trev Lickitung or Walrein Trev DD. But last time I looked at it, or last time I looked at the stats, this one ranked higher, or it was higher on the echelon. So Retro Cup hasn't changed massively unless Araquanid was in here, but as you see, Walrein Trev Core is still incredibly powerful. So this is technically the most powerful Retro Cup team, or the best Retro Cup team statistically, and for this time around, because Retro Cup hasn't changed at all, or for the most part. Again, if you lock in Araquanid into Walrein, that's probably the only thing. Other than that, this meta is just a mess. So, yeah, it's Retro Cup, and I don't understand why they decided to bring this one back instead of the other one, but you know, it's Niantic. Yeah, it's Niantic. It's freaking Niantic, and Pokemon freaking Go PvP is garbage. You'll see why. So I actually 5-0 with this team, but for all of you that actually play right now, you're probably getting a glitch to where you win a battle, you get shot back into the screen of your set, and you actually get handed an auto loss. So you get an L even though you technically won the battle because the system's not working right now. So yes, I 5-0'd with this team, but you'll see at the end what I mean if you haven't experienced that glitch yet. What it'll do is it'll put you back to the main screen. It'll show, hey, you lost the battle even though you should have won it, and then you go back to your log and it won't show the third battle because the system's broken and it doesn't register your win. So it just registers you as a loss, which is so dumb. But in order to keep my sanity, well, I'm pretty sane right now, but you know what? It's what it is. It's Go Battle Lag. And speaking of battle lag, in order to remedy yourself, this is my therapist mental health tip for the day. If you want to skip it, because I've heard some complaints on it, because some of y'all don't know the value of mental health and probably aren't aware of your own mental health. So before you go out there and pretend you're all macho and everything like that, you're some kind of giga chat and everything, you are not actually as strong as you think you are, because people will break you mentally faster, or you just have never been through anything mentally difficult to begin with. So, you can skip it below on the description. If you've noticed and you put your screen on the timeline, you can see that I put in the effort to split this into parts. So, if you would like to skip this tip, as valuable as it is, because therapy in California is actually $150 to $300 an hour or more, so if you want this free psycho education for free, please continue. If you would like to, please don't subscribe for my channel, because you don't know the value of mental health and you probably shouldn't be watching my content again. Go watch another person out there that's gonna lie to you and just pretend it isn't a professional and pretends to be a professional when it comes to this. Anyways, that's part of my rant. Second of all, it's going to be, for my tip, it's actually, does therapy work? Well, for most of those in stigma and those that are rude and do not comment or just don't even know the value of it anyways, because you would never survive in this career field if you try to, we should probably stop roasting people that think they can be good therapists, but they're actually absolute garbage as human beings and as therapists to begin with, if you ever tried. So what makes therapies work? Well, it's an elusive combination of words that will help a client overcome depression, or more realistically, is there a series of research-based techniques and strategies that can be strung together to heal emotional wounds. So therapy's been out since World War I, or being popularized in American standards since about like 1940 or something of that sort. So there's been a lot of research done, etc., to prove that therapy works and mental health is a thing. So when the right techniques and research-based interventions are valuable, there are few less tangible aspects of psychotherapy that are strongly connected to positive treatment outcomes. When researchers study therapists as opposed to studying a specific type of treatment, they come up with some interesting data. So, the one study found that an effective therapist compared to a less effective therapist has a more powerful impact on treatment outcome on whether a client receives medication. So yes, treatment is somewhat better than education, or a combination you can make it. So clinical experience surprisingly has little importance. So therapists who have been practicing for 15 years don't have greater access with clients than those who have only been in the field for 2 years. Additionally, as long as therapeutic intervention has at least moderate research, it doesn't really matter which one you choose. What's more important is that you, the therapist, believe that works. And there's this whole article that proves that therapy works, backed on research. So all of you that are freaking ignoring your mental health and are probably dying mentally, you should probably take a look at this article a lot more than other people. Or if you are more interested and you're looking to get in therapy because it actually does work and you're scared to just go out there, look towards your insurance. Your insurance will likely pay for a session or pay for some set of sessions, or you can go ahead and use this and look at all the research. Here's the research right here from Therapist Aid, and that's all I'm going to say about this because I think I've roasted the poor souls out there that think they're freaking macho enough. When y'all have never been punched in the face or never served in the United States Armed Forces or any sort of armed forces in your nation, so you aren't shit. There you go. I'm done roasting people that think they're freaking like Adonis or masculine as hell, etc. And without further ado, this is the most powerful team for the Retro Cup, and without further ado, let's get started. Alright, here are the battles. So, again, this was a 5-0, but you'll see what happens. Freaking Niantic. So, we lose the lead here. This is Medicham into Walrein. If you lose the lead, safe switch into DD. DD is going to be your primary safe switch, and we're kind of just using this to sack DD or hope our opponent does this. They throw something where you can actually win back switch. So, the reason why the Walrein Trevenant core is so freaking good is because if you lose the lead against one thing, normally the other thing can cover it. In this scenario, Trevenant can cover Medicham. So all we're going to do is we're going to shield this Night Slash, and then we're going to farm down this Zangoose, and then I'm just going to throw a Psycho Boost or a Rock Slide. I have choice against that Medicham in the back. If I'm a little good or really confident in my abilities, like I always am with Deoxys defense because I've been playing it for so long, I can get to 2 Psycho Boosts you see here, and then I can go back to back. You want to get as much chip damage as much as you possibly can. Even though Psycho Boost is debuffed, the second one will still put this Medicham in the yellow or close to it, even though it's debuffed times 2 after you fire the first one. So as you see here, we put this Medicham in the battle in the yellow, and like I mentioned, every single chip point damage matters. We're gonna send in our Trevenant here. We're gonna eat the first move. I want to see if it's Ice Punch or Psychic, and it's Psychic, but it's okay because these Shadow Claws should do a lot of damage. We switch in and we get a Lapras. So this is actually pretty terrible for you as the Walrein player because of the fact that Shadow Lapras has access to Skull Bash. So my only way to win here is to call the Skull Bash. If my opponent baits then Skull Bash, I'm in a lot of trouble. But as you see here, I got the Earthquake through, which is great. But I also called the Skull Bash. So that was my win condition. So even though I lost the lead, and even though I lost the lead against Medicham, I can still come back if you're able to call everything right precisely. So this is one of those matches where precisely baiting and then firing the Earthquake will pay off. So this Earthquake will go off and KO since we've been able to bait this Lapras. And then after that, as you see, one Skull Bash won't go through. If it was Shadow, it would have been fine. It would have been terrible. So I send in my Trevenant, as you see, just making sure I'm really on point, making sure you have good reflexes, and to make sure you just keep everything aligned. And then I'm able to get to 2 C-Bombs here, and that's GG's. Even if Lapras had a move there, Trevenant wins CMP. So this is just a really good match of showcasing what high level is if you lose the lead or if you don't have play. So that's just this. If you are anxious about Go Battle League, that's what it takes. This is my friend Christiati. I was like, when I saw this, I was like, oh crap, okay, what do you got? And then it was like, Altaria. I don't get nervous when I play people I know, but I'm just like, why do we have to battle? It's like when you fight your friends. If it's Jiu-Jitsu, I'm fine with it because, you know, I want gold too. I want that gold medal just like you do, so we go and fight. But like, when it's Go Battle League, I'm just, as you see here, this is a very rock, paper, scissors combination. His Altaria will lose to my Walrein, so we're going to switch into our respective save switches. For him, he's using Shadow Ninetales. And I'm kind of scratching my head because I'm like, oh. Which isn't a bad pick, actually, because for those Frostlesses, Shadow Ninetales is actually pretty good. I will shield the first overheat, and at -2, the second overheat does over half my HP. I'm going to 100, almost 100 energy here, and I was like amazed. I was like, wow, holy crap, that does a lot more damage than I thought. Christiati is going to let Ninetales go, but I have enough energy, as you see here, just because of great energy management, to get 2 Rock Slides off. So we're just going to chuck a bunch of rocks at you. This should put Altaria in the yellow, and it does. If I'm lucky enough, I should be able to get to a Psycho Boost, and I do not. 1 turn fast moves in comparison to regular ones. The reason why that went off or that happened was because 1 turn fast moves take priority over charge moves. So if a 1 turn fast move, even if you have 1 banked, if you're going to die to 1 Dragon Breath, it's going to go through first. He sends in Shadow Hitmonchan, and I respect the spice. I respect the spice, but unfortunately, I'm going to double C-Bomb here, and then that's pretty much game. Unless he lets Medicham go, but all I have to do in this instance is get to a Shadow Ball. I'm going to bait here, and then I can either, 1, go for a Shadow Ball if I'm able to live, or 2, Walrein will just finish off. Really bad battle, as in, I don't like rock, paper, scissors. I really don't. Like, when you rock, paper, scissors a friend, you know I'm like, this is just rock, paper, scissors. It wasn't a great battle. It wasn't like an absolute war. This is just rock, paper, scissors. Because I have that shield, I should be able to shield whatever comes through here and then fire my Icicle Spear, and that's game. So it's, yes, when it comes to me, I don't like winning through rock, paper, scissors. I really don't. And that's another component of this game that really needs to change. Because as long as you have good reflexes, like you saw the last battle and this one, and your switches are on point, and your awareness, etc., it's pretty easy. Because it definitely isn't, like, when it comes to, like, first-person shooters or MOBAs, you don't have to have, like, that mechanic macro godliness in comparison to Pokemon Go. It's not that. It's pretty calm. So we lose this lead. We get our next match. We got Lickitung XL into our Walrein. This is actually a pretty even matchup, I would say. The reason being is because if you have, well, not really even. Technically, the Lickitung will win if you get double baited, or if they get a Power Whip through shields. Normally what happens though is that the Lickitung will usually fire the Power Whip, as you see here, so I will always shield the first move because they will always go to the Power Whip. After that, you can straight Icicle Spear down, unless your opponent elects to play the shield game with you. So just go ahead, Icicle Spear your way to Oblivion, or to victory, and then as you see here, we're just going to do as much work as we possibly can, and I'm just going to fire off these Icicle Spears, just like Eden from Final Fantasy VIII. Well, if you play the Final Fantasy series, it's a great and freaking amazing gaming series. And then there's one time where this sorceress, she uses like icicle spears. No, literal icicle spears in the scene. If you know what I'm talking about, you are amazing. I love the Final Fantasy series. All we're gonna do here is I'm gonna be able to farm down this Lickitung and have a lot of energy. The good thing about Walrein is that Walrein's charge moves, there's not really nothing that walls both charge moves outside of Araquanid in this meta, so if they don't have everyone Araquanid, then you could just freaking go to town like you see here. I'm going to be able to get 2 or 3 Icicle Spear off and do a hefty amount of damage against this Greeting. Yeah, I'm in the zeros, but the thing about this is that I have a ton of damage on your Greeting, and your whole, I still have 2 Holmons in the back. I'm able to get the 3 Icicle Spears, throw all this energy at Greeting, so my opponent either 1 has a shield, or 2, they're going to let the Greeting go. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to snipe in and send in my DD and snipe down this Greeting. When you have 2 versus 3 charge moves, like fast moves like that, so when it's a 2 versus 3 one, you can snipe down like that. Or if your opponent's reflexes are just really slow, like what do you do with like a towel, like you just have to be really fancy. But with 2-turn fast moves, it's pretty easy to snipe down. My opponent will lose all that energy from the Greeting, and then we're going to get hit by this Oranguru's foul play, but that's okay. Because 1 foul play isn't going to KO Deoxys defense. Yeah, they still have a shield, but I have a whole Trevenant in the back, and I still have a Walrein for a sack. So I still have multiple win conditions available to me right now. So even though you lose the lead against Lickitung XL, well, not hard lose, but it can still be a hard loss, and my opponent's trying to play a triple normal team, you're still, yeah, that's GG's. I'm going to send in Trevenant. Trev will be able to get the C-Bomb, and then C-Bomb should finish off Oranguru. Or I can be fancy and try to sack into Walrein. I actually attempt to do that here, like, just for giggles. So as you see here, I try to sack. It doesn't matter though, because even if Oranguru got energy, Trevenant wins CMP, so this was kind of just like a practice thing for me. This is in Go Battle League, if you're dominating a match like this, then try to practice your sacks, etc. if you can make it safe like I did right there. We got Legend on Legend action for the 4th battle, and we got Munchlax into Walrein. This is actually bad for you. Munchlax is so freaking bulky that its body slams are going to do a decent amount of chip damage, so it's really like iffy for this matchup. But of course, because Walrein is such a beast, these Icicle Spears are going to do heavy damage. If I was using Shadow Walrein, this would have been a little better as far as the matchup goes. Shadow and the regular one does matter for matchups like against Sableye, but I like the regular one just because of the extra bulk, allowing you to get to all those Icicle Spears that I fired in previous battles. All we're going to do here is just going to straight Icicle Spear our way to victory. We can live this body slam, then my opponent has to have choice here. Then, well, actually what I'm going to do here is I'm going to fire this Icicle Spear. My plan is to make my opponent bait 1 shield, then I can send in Deoxys defense to snipe down this Munchlax. Or if they could give it up, like here. So As you see here, they fire a Walrein, and I'm like, that's annoying. The reason why it's annoying is because Walrein with extra energy isn't really great against the Trevenant and Deoxys defense back row. The good thing about Deoxys defense is that Deoxys defense is so bulky that you can sponge three Icicle Spears just fine. So my opponent's going to fire a bunch of Icicle Spears. I'm going to fire a Rock Slide though. After I get this extra counter through, I'm going to fire an Ice Slide, Rock Slide, try to take out this Trevenant, this Walrein, and then after I take out the Walrein, we have to send in our Trevenant. My opponent switches out, so I fire my Rock Slide as planned anyways, and my plan here is to break both shields or do a decent amount of chip damage. So what I'm hoping is I break both of my opponent's shields. So I happen to break both my opponent's shields, and then I send a Trevenant with 2 shields, and you already know what happens. Shadow Ball does massive damage. Street Fighter 6 is releasing pretty soon, which is pretty exciting for those of you one-on-one fighting fanatic fans. That is a game that's far more popular and far more recognizable than Pokemon Go PvP. And yeah, one of the most iconic, actually pretty much, one of the most iconic franchises of all time, Street Fighter. Now, all I'm going to do here is I'm going to attempt to actually farm down this Altaria, but what I'm doing here is I'm waiting for them to switch in. So I'm waiting for a switch. I'm waiting for them to switch because that Walrein still has energy. So they switch in the Walrein, and this is just perfect timing. Remember I told you about reflexes and making sure you're aware of your opponent's win conditions? My opponent's win condition here is to snipe me down. So all I have to do that's fine, and then I should be able to just counter down for the W. Yeah, it was really risky, but that was really my only way out, and the fact that, that's just really precise play right there. So I'm giving you a lot of good looks of what it takes to compete at the highest level. So, yes. Yeah. And speaking of the highest level, you have to be able to play out the mirror match. But the mirror match is also very iffy because it's 50-50. So, that rhymes. Iffy because it's 50-50. Okay. That's actually pretty. So as you see here in the mirror match, you have to call your opponent. It's just a bait game. In the mirror, you play the bait game when it comes to Walreins. Do you capture the Icicle Spear? Yes. Or do you get the Earthquake? Or do you get 4, 9, 6, 20 Earthquake off the floor? As you see here, I call the right one, which is good because now my opponent's massively behind. I don't have to shield the second one. I'm going to elect to though, just because I want to keep alignment, and I do want to keep my Walrein healthy. My opponent tries to swap. And this is just another thing about being patient or making sure your swaps are on point, and they swap into a Poliwrath. The danger here is that Poliwrath has Ice Punch. So this isn't exactly super safe for you. As you see there, that Ice Punch did a lot. So it wasn't like One Punch Man, it wasn't the Fist of the North Star, but hey, you know what? It still did a lot more than I'm comfortable with. So I'm gonna have to shield the second one, or I'm gonna have to let Trevenant go. So I shield the second one right here. I'm going to fire off the second Ice Punch. The thing about it is, though, this is okay because I still have a whole DD and I have Walrein with extra energy. I can choose to send in Walrein and Earthquake, or I can send DD and Psycho Boost. Or my opponent eats the freaking Seed Bomb, and I'm like, why, though? Because, like, this allows me, I don't know why they wouldn't have shielded there. I'm like, because it's better to bank the match, but now you blow your energy, and now I double Psycho Boost for the W. That's literally what happens in this scenario. I had a pretty commanding control over here because I won the mirror match. Winning the mirror match is crucial just because of winning back alignment and just forcing your opponent to either one, try to be fancy to play out scenarios like that, or you just the plan doesn't work. As you see, the super combo breaker right here, the air combo, 460 for the double Psycho Boost into the freaking 4, 9, 6, 20 Earthquake equals GG's, and bam, my opponent top lefts before I actually get off this. But as you see, the super combo, the Metsu Earthquake, I'm trying really hard here, but yeah, that's game. So as you see here, this is the freaking glitch that cost me my 5-0. It's the glitch where you win a battle, but it doesn't register the win. And as you see here, it will cause that blank thing right there, and it will leave it blank, meaning you'll go straight to your screen, and you probably already know this glitch, and it'll register as a loss even though you won the battle. So it won't show that you won, it'll just go straight to that screen, and then you take an automatic L. Niantic, fix your game. As if that wasn't clear enough. But that cost me the 5-0. As you see, if I won that match, that cost me, I would have got a 5-0. So this team is still incredibly powerful. It still is one of the most powerful teams in Retro Cup. And that's game. So as you see, this is a very sweaty shot. Yeah, this is a super meta team, but this is why super meta works, because with a combination of overpowered stats and charge moves, and with a combination of extremely freaking pristine player skill, you can do all that madness as you see here. So this is a very powerful team and just shows just how overpowered the Walrein Trevcore is. And based on what my friends have told me, Walrein Trevcore has been overly used in in freaking regionals. Not too surprised, because Open Great League. Here's to hoping that the game gets fixed. Well, you know, if they're not willing to try and fix it completely, or they probably just don't have any idea what they're doing, which is probably also another thing when it comes to Niantic, this game is going to crumble as an esport. I mean, I think one of my friends is just like told me like NASC only has like 1,400 viewers, and I'm like, that's it. Meanwhile, Valorant and Rocket League are comfortably sitting at a good 30 to 40k or 20 to 30k viewers. So we're huge, right? No, we're not. So there's a lot of things that need to be fixed. That's not just on the barrier to entry side, but also just the game working in general. But it's been too long. Your first impression you put on a lot of people, the word is probably spreading to a majority of players that this game is just broken, just not worth going into, unfortunately. But for those of you that still go into it, never lose hope, keep tapping. Or as one of my coach told me, my PvP coach told me very many moons ago when PvP first started on the rise, just keep tapping. So, hopefully y'all are doing well. Hopefully, please, if you do me a huge favor, please like, subscribe, and comment. Or if you are like one of those individuals I mentioned in the beginning, I went pretty in, and I will not apologize, because a lot of y'all really do, a lot of people should get checked out for therapy. It's very valuable and could have prevented a lot of mass incidents and mass shootings that have happened on this day. But no, people just keep downplaying my profession. And that's what it is. But you know what? It's what it is, but recognize it, process your feelings, run through it, and it's okay to not play Pokemon Go PvP. Good luck in your Go Battle League sets, and I will see y'all on the next video.